Hey friends, it's Kratos with Empowered Humans. It is April the 5th, 2022, and the only reason I know that is because April the 5th is my birthday. I don't really care about my birthday, it's like just another day. But, you know, you get people calling you up, wishing you happy birthday, and you're like, oh yeah, today's my birthday. But, I don't have a happy message for you guys today, and I should be expected. These are not happy times, and I'm very stoic about things. I don't inject hopium, and you know, I feel like I have a very deep understanding of the fact that, you know, even if we stopped what they were doing, flipped the switch off, and halted the entire agenda, what they've already done is going to wipe us all out. I mean, not to mention we're dealing with suicidal nihilists, and a good way to describe a suicidal nihilist would be someone who would burn the whole world down as long as he gets to rule over the ashes. Or it's kind of like, if they can't rule the world, they'll just destroy it, and themselves with it if necessary. They don't really care. These are really demented people, guys, and I wasn't really going to talk about this, but it really ties in and helps you understand what you're dealing with. I did a talk on this like in the early days of my channels when I was going to do like quote of the day or quote of the week kind of things, and I quickly ran out of. There's no shortage of excellent quotes, but most of them are just too self-explanatory to really waste time elaborating on. But I believe it was Lord Acton who said that power tends to corrupt, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Most people, their brain allows that to enter and kind of wiggle around a little bit, tickle them, and then it leaves because they agree with it, but they don't really contemplate, they don't take it to its logical conclusion. What does it mean to be absolutely corrupted by power? And that's where we get into incredulity, when I tell people that the world is ruled by the most evil people imaginable. And most people, when they think about people who rule the world, they wear suits. They talk real softly. Look at Justin Trudeau. Justin Trudeau is such a cynical piece of shit. Like the way he talks to us is so calculated, and so rehearsed, and so like just patronizing. Like it's like every in-breath is choreographed, and every out-breath is choreographed, and every word is carefully chosen, and every hand gesture carefully chosen, and he speaks so softly. You ever listen to him talk? He always has those choreographed, exaggerated in-breaths, inhales, so those people can't be, unimaginably evil, and that's because we don't have power. I mean, we do have power. We have unimaginable power. We have, way more power than they do. There are so many of us, and so few of them. But we don't have the kind of power that they do, where they can snap their fingers and wipe out large portions of the population, and where they can basically do whatever they want because they own all the institutions that could ever possibly hold them accountable. So it's like, that's what always bothered me about that movie, The Purge. Like, you got one night, you could do whatever you want. Most people would just do whatever they always do in the first place. Because when people break the law, they don't break the law. Well, mostly when people don't break the law, like, nobody doesn't break the law because, the law is there. I break the law all the time because most laws are, have nothing to do with right or wrong. And that's my compass, is right or wrong, natural law. If I'm not hurting anybody or doing anything wrong, I don't give a shit if it's legal or not. I'll do whatever I want. But most people don't take legality into account. For instance, I believe it was in Oregon, they eliminated the speed limit, and they expected everybody to go crazy. But no, everybody who sped in the first place kept driving the same way that they always did, and everybody just like for me, I don't care about speed limits. I do, like when I'm on the freeway and I can drive, the speed limit is 70. I do 70, not because I'm obeying the speed limit, but because that is the arbitrary speed that I've concluded in my mind gives me the best gas mileage for the amount of time it takes me to get a place. So, it's like I could drive slower and get better gas mileage, but it'll take too long to get there. And I can drive faster, but then I'm going to get worse gas mileage. And so I kind of tend to leave at the point where I can get to where I'm going on time at about 70 miles an hour. When you're driving a long distance and you drive 75, 80, it's very noticeable how much more gas you use. So you and I are just normal people who really just want to live their lives in peace. And if you said we could do whatever we want, we would do basically the same kind of things. There might be ridiculous laws that you obey that you might not have to obey anymore, so you won't. But most people, that is a ridiculous fantasy to think that if you said, you can go murder people and get away with it, that people would just go out and go on a murder spree. It is something. It is not easy to take a human life. Like taking a human life is not something that you just do. Most people would be horrified at the prospect of taking another human being's life, just for the sake of taking a human's life. Just like, I want to go out and kill somebody. They would be mentally and psychologically and spiritually crippled by that. The people who rule the world, most of them have been in their figurative and sometimes literal ivory towers for so many generations. They're all bloodline families. They're all dynasties, and they've been cut off from their humanity for so long that they don't have any. They're spiritually, literally spiritually dead. So when they've been corrupted, absolutely, it is nothing for them and they're so far disconnected from it. Like how many people did Hitler actually kill? Nobody. Same kind of thing. Like they're perfectly fine with starving tens or hundreds of millions of people through these lockdowns and through this economic disruption that they've caused. And part of the reason why that they can do that is because they're completely detached from it. They don't have to watch people suffering and die because of the way it's like Stalin said, one death is a tragedy, a million deaths is a statistic. So power corrupts, absolute power corrupts absolutely, and you must keep that in mind when you're knowing your enemy and knowing the agenda, because the agenda is going to be, when you start delving into the agenda starts to become so evil that the human mind, the average person, just can't grasp how evil that is, and that's why they don't believe it, and that's why they don't act upon it. That's why they don't see the agenda and see the future laid forth before them in what they say they're going to do. I'm not predicting anything, guys. They said they're going to do this, and I'm telling you, this is what they said they're going to do, and what they've said they were going to do in the past has been done before, so we have no reason to doubt that they'll do it. So you must keep that in mind. all of that, and I went way off on a tangent for what I wanted to talk about today, but you must keep that in mind. You must look that in the eye, as horrible as it is, and see what it is, and you must be reactive and proactive based on that information, based on the knowing that we are up against literal demons on earth, and they're Satanists. I posted something yesterday, like, you might not believe in the devil, but the people who run the world surely do, and you are seeing it manifest right now in the way that they are rewriting society. That is a satanic agenda. Everything's inverted. Man is woman, good is evil, evil is good, and everything's inverted. Sick is healthy, healthy is sick. You look at the cover of Cosmo magazine, they got a bunch of morbidly obese women, and they weigh like 300 pounds, and you're like, this is healthy. No, it's not. And I saw another magazine cover where you have, it wasn't as bad as I originally thought it was. It was a bunch of men wearing white underwear with blood seeping through their underwear, and it was like, they were saying people have periods, not just women. And then I later found out that they were transgender. They were actually biological females who were pretending to be males, and then they wanted to be like, see, men can have periods too, because I identify as a man even though I'm a biological female. That's satanic, guys. I don't believe in Satan. All right, I don't. But that's what the worship of Satanism is. It's a complete debauchery of everything good and everything sane on earth. So that's what you're dealing with. You must look that in the face, and you must, if you want to live. I mean, like some people, I guess I'll just die, or if I die, I die. They've had like, and I've heard people say that they've had the will to live just sucked right out of them. It's not that they're depressed; they're just indifferent. That's that suicidal nihilism. It's been embedded into people too. If I die, I die. Like, where's your fire to live? You got kids. So anyway, I'm worried. And if you have the means to do this, you by all means should just do it. Because, as I've been telling you guys, I did this very quickly, relatively speaking. I built my homestead in under a year by myself, using nothing but a chainsaw, and everything else was all hand tools. So you can do it very quickly, especially if you've got access to like skid steers and tractors, and if you've got extra sets of hands that can help you. Get it done. You can get it done in a few months if you wanted to. If you've got the means. But by and large, I feel like for most people, and don't mistake me, guys. It took me several $1,000s to do this. I mean, if we're looking at how much did I paid $30,000 for my land, and I paid $3,600 for my septic. I paid $2,000, almost $3,000 to get my electric hooked up. I had to put a driveway in. That was $2,400. It was $3,600 for the well. So that's just basic getting on that's just basic buying land debt free and moving on to it. I don't have a house yet. I had to hook an RV up to my septic, power, and well, and it's not awesome. It's not bad. It's not awesome though. But if you don't have the money in the bank right now to do that, I can't really tell you for sure what the future is, because they could drag this on for years. But the way things have been moving have been way too fast to say that, and I'm hearing all kinds of terrible things about the third quarter of this year, with the culmination of inflation, food shortages, and and gas prices especially. You're in a lot of trouble. So this is going to be a prolonged crisis. It's going to last many, many years. I don't know how long, and my my spider senses tells me this is permanent. Because, not because I have any kind of special insight into it or I'm making predictions, but the collapse of civilization is permanent. And the only way out of it, if you survive the culling, is to plug into the technocratic slave matrix, the Agenda 21, Great Reset, move into the mega smart cities and become a head of cattle for them. That's if you survive. And I really don't know how that's going to play out for sure. I just know that for me, I needed to get out of debt and do what I did. And I've been begging you guys to do something similar because I have a feeling that, from what they want your land, they want your property. They don't these people think they own the world, and you're on their property. So anything that they can do to take you out of their property and take take their property back from you, they're going to do it. And I had a feeling that mortgage delinquency was going to be one way they would do it. So that's why I sold my house and bought the land. I've been begging people to do something similar, get out of debt, so that they can't take a shit. Produce, because the storable food is going to run out. But I don't know how long that's going to be. So if you're not able to do that, you can buy yourself a few years. I would recommend you do that. And I would recommend you do that through a company like My Patriot Supply or 4 Patriots or something. I'm an affiliate with My Patriot Supply, but I don't think my affiliate link works. It's whatever. I don't really make a lot of money off that. But I would definitely go through one of them and put all your money into food, guys. Because, like I said, by the third quarter of this year, you're going to see some shit. It's going to be biblical. And you've heard about the zombie apocalypse, and that's some kind of joke or pipe dream fantasy or something, or fictional future event. But the government trains for the zombie apocalypse, guys. They train for it, and they train against actual zombies, people searching for brains. And that kind of dehumanizes the whole thing, so that they're not really training the troops to gun down American citizens who are rioting over food, because there is none. But that's the zombie apocalypse, guys. All of these billions of dumbfounded dipshits, and I don't say that to be mean. I mean, I know it was done to them and their victims. It's just it's a tool lyric, but they will be. It'll hit them. They'll be like, "Oh my God, what happened? We're not prepared for this." And I saw it was a great meme. It was the primate of the lake, some gorilla-looking guy just standing on a rock in the middle of the lake, and he was imparting his wisdom onto one of the bearded meme guy. And he says, "It only takes 9 missed meals before Karen down the street is ripping your throat out for a can of beans." 9 missed meals. That's 3 days. And there's only 3 days worth of food on the grocery shelves at any given time. And if that gets disrupted, that just-in-time food system gets disrupted, all hell's gonna break loose. And there's your zombie apocalypse, because there won't be any food in the shelves. And I want you to harken back to, maybe 2012, 2013, 2011, maybe, when people still went to the store on Black Friday. And you'll remember people stampeding over each other at Target for midnight Black Friday deals. What do you think they're going to do to each other when there's no food? That's the zombie apocalypse. So you need to get your own food, and you need to keep it in a place that is secure and hidden, and you need to keep it a secret, and you need to get yourself a weapon or weapons and lots of ammo to be able to defend that food when they come for it, and they will. And if I were you, I would build my stored food and keep that a secret too, because there's executive orders in place that, if enacted, that can come to your place and say that you've got too much food and people are starving, and we're commandeering your food supply so we can redistribute it fairly. It's not a fun time. It's not a fun time. I mean, it can be a fun time, I guess. I don't know how it's going to be. I'm very close to being to the point where I'm producing enough food on my homestead that I could, that in terms of food security, I'm gonna be fine. I just got my breasts hatching eggs in the mail this morning. They are in the incubator. I'm going to raise those for meat chickens. I didn't like the quail. My meat rabbits are fantastic. They are kicking ass. I can probably, once that, we're going to add another doe to the mix, and once I get the timing figured out between all three of those, I'll be producing enough rabbits to eat 3 rabbits a week. That's 3 days a week where I've got a full-size, fill your stomach meal. It's not enough fat, but that's why I have chickens laying eggs for me. So my setup is better than most. I'll never know how good it really is until the shit actually hits the fan and I gotta rely on it completely. But I'm eating a rabbit a week right now, and pretty soon I'll be able to eat 2 rabbits a week, and then 3. So once I just gotta get the timing down. I'm not mating them as efficiently as they can be mated. So, and then once I get the breast going, I'm hoping to get 100 chickens a year. So that's basically 5 days a week between the rabbits and the chickens that I'll be able to eat meat. And then the other 2 days I can just eat eggs, or I can fast. It's whatever. So anyway, it's not a happy time, guys. I don't have a happy message. Message is, you're out of time, guys. You're out of time. If you have the capital just sitting around, it's about to become completely worthless. You need to get rid of it, and you need to buy tangible, useful assets. I wouldn't even put it into gold and silver, because you can't eat it. And if there's no food on the shelves, what good is having, you can have the most valuable money in the world to pay for it. It's worthless. People buying crypto, your crypto could be worth $100,000. If there's no food on the shelf, you're starving. Where are you going to find it? People seem to think that all these things just exist, like gravity or the sunrise. It's just, the sun rises in the morning and it sets in the evening. And, if I jump off a cliff, I fall to my death. And if I go to the grocery store, there's food there. I think people really take that for granted, to the point where it's just normalcy bias. It's very foolish. It's very dangerous. It's very reckless. But it's understandable. We've never had anything like this happen before, so it's hard to say. It's hard to realize that we need to take urgent, radical action, which means abandoning all of our preconceived notions about the way life's supposed to be based on the last several generations. It's very difficult. I understand it. I don't know what it is about me that caused me to jump into action and abandon all that, but I did it. And so we'll see what happens. I love you guys. I hope you're moving quickly. Either way, I hope you're storing shitloads and shitloads of food. I hope you have off-grid sources of water. I hope you have a sustainable, regenerative food system. Because I'm not really sure how long this is going to be. It's going to be a very long time, guys. A very long time. And even just to put it into perspective, the Great Depression lasted 17 years. 17. And this is going to be a trip to Disneyland, minus maybe your children being raped, hopefully, compared to the Great Depression. This is going to be much, 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 much worse, guys. Much worse. So brace yourselves. Get your houses in order. Farm or die. And I will talk to you soon.